Good morning, students. Today I am going to teach the third unit prose. The title of the prose is Sir Isaac Newton, the Ingenious Scientist, written by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Sir Isaac Newton was an English mathematician, physicist, astronomer, theologian, and author. He is widely recognized as one of the most influential scientists of all time. Isaac Newton was born on Christmas Day in the year 1642 at the small village of Woolsthorpe in England. Isaac Newton was born to a widowed mother. His father died 3 months before his birth. When he was born, he was tiny and weak. He was not expected to survive. Isaac's mother was married again to a religious leader and went to reside, that is, went to live at North Windmill. So, her son was left to the care of his good old grandmother. She was very kind to him and sent him to school. In his early years, Isaac was chiefly remarkable for his creativity in all mechanical occupations. At a young age, Isaac manufactured a set of tools and saws of various sizes. Using them, he made curious articles. He worked with so much skills. His neighbors and grandmother admired his inventions. His old grandmother believed that he would be a capital workman in future and became a rich man before he dies. His friends advised Isaac's grandmother to apprentice him to a clockmaker because Isaac was good in mechanical and maths skills. He made curious clocks like the dancing figures, the sailing ship as the pendulum vibrates, and the clock that worked by the dropping of water. The earlier clocks worked by wheels and weights, but Isaac's clock moved by the dropping of water. He also invented a sundial. His grandmother used the water clock in the shade and the sundial in the sunshine to know the time. The sundial made by Isaac is still in existence at Woolsthorpe in Isaac's house. He could acquire knowledge in simple ways. For instance, to find out the strength of the wind, Isaac jumped against the wind. And by the length of his jump, he calculated the force of the wind. There was a windmill close to his grandmother's residence. It operated on a new plan. Isaac used to visit the mill frequently. He spent many hours there examining its various parts. When the mill was at rest, he investigated into its internal machinery. And when the mill was working, he watched the process by which the mill stones revolved and crushed the grain. Thus, he learnt about the construction of the windmill. Then he made his own small windmill with available materials like box straps and linen for sails. When this small windmill was placed in the air, its little sails whirled round. Even a puff of wind from Isaac's mouth made the windmill work, and a handful of grains put into the little hopper turned to snow white flour. The windmill was pretty and wonderful. Isaac's playmates had never seen such a thing before. So, Isaac's playmates were attracted and delighted with his new windmill. But one of his friends said that he had forgotten something in the making of the windmill. When Isaac was sure that it lacked nothing, his friend said that it lacked a miller. Miller is a person who operates a mill. As Isaac grew, he started thinking beyond making toys. He isolated himself, thought deeply, read some books of mathematics or philosophy, and at nights he observed the stars. He asked himself many curious questions about the world of stars, their distance from Earth, their orbits, how it holds force, and so on. When Isaac was 14 years old, his mother's second husband was died. So, his mother wished Isaac to leave school and assist her in managing the farm at Woolsthorpe. He helped his mother and tried to turn his attention to farming because the family is too poor. So he tried to help his mother and also tried to turn his attention only to farming. But his mind was bent to become a scholar. On seeing this, his mother sent him to the University of Cambridge. Isaac was the first to find the nature of light. He discovered that sunlight was composed of 7 colors. When an apple fell on his head, he asked himself many questions, which led him to discover the force of gravitation. He discovered the force of gravitation. He tracked the orbits of the planets and stars on the sky. When he was doing his researches, he spent all nights on a tower, gazing the heavenly bodies through a telescope. Isaac wondered if the stars were worlds like our own, how great was their distance from the earth, and what was the power kept the stars in their courses. Like that, when the apple fell on his head, it made him think what made it fall down. When he had once got hold of this idea, he never permitted his mind to rest until he had searched and made his findings. He felt he knew very little in comparison to what remained to be known by him. Sir Isaac Newton is the best known for his laws of motion. In mathematics, his inventions included laying the groundwork for differential and integral calculus. The reflecting telescope and binomial theorem were also some of his best inventions. We know that he was the first to find out the nature of light. He invented the reflecting telescope, which was used to view and map out the orbits of the planets. He also used his theory of gravity to calculate the elliptical orbits of planets around the Sun accurately. His mind was above this world. He spent most of his life in the world that lie millions of miles away. All that he had learned only made him feel how little he knew in comparison to what remained to be known. Sir Isaac Newton died in 1727 when he was 85 years old. He was a member of parliament and received the honor of knighthood from the king. But he was not proud of his earthly fame or knowledge. His name is written in letters of light formed by the stars in midnight sky. Mr. George and Mr. Temple remarked that if Isaac had lived longer, he would have found all the other inventions of today too. I hope you understood the lesson. Yes, let us know the meanings from the glossary. Ingenuity, the ability to invent things or creativity. Yes, ingenuity is the ability to invent things or creativity. Contrived, created or invented. Apprentice, works for someone to learn skills. Acquiring, getting knowledge or skill. Pride, investigated. Hopper, funnel-shaped bins for feeding grains into mills. It is used in, the hopper is used in all the mills, which was funnel-shaped. Enchanted, delighted. Miniature, very small model. Curiosity, eagerness. Accustomed, something familiar with. Gazing, looking steadily and intently. Ceased, stopped. Yes, let us answer the book exercise. The first one, fill in the blanks. Isaac Newton was born at dash. Isaac Newton was born at Woolsthorpe in England. The second one, grandmother was advised to apprentice him to a dash. Grandmother was advised to apprentice him to a clockmaker. Then the third one, Isaac made a clock by the dropping of dash. We know Isaac made a clock by the dropping of water. The sundial made by Isaac is still in existence at dash. The sundial made by Isaac is still in existence at Woolsthorpe in Isaac's house. Woolsthorpe in Isaac's house. Fifth one. Isaac constructed a model of the dash. Isaac constructed a model of the windmill. Yes. Let me read it again. Isaac Newton was born at Woolsthorpe in England. Grandmother was advised to apprentice him to a clockmaker. Isaac made a clock by the dropping of water. The sundial made by Isaac is still in existence at Woolsthorpe in Isaac's house. Isaac constructed a model of the windmill. The next one is choose the correct synonyms for the italicized words. Is here, as the question is not clear, I underlined the questions. The first one, Isaac was chiefly remarkable for his ingenuity. Just let me read the question, that is the word for which you are going to choose the correct synonym. Remarkable, answer is notable. Capital, the answer is wealth. Composed, made. Fame, popularity. Just we are choosing the correct synonyms from the given options. First one, remarkable. Answer is notable. Second one, capital. The answer is wealth. Third one, composed. Answer is made. Fourth one, fame. The answer is popularity. And another exercise is choose the correct antonym for the italicized word. Here also I underlined the questions. Kind. Answer is cruel. You are choosing the antonym, that is opposites for the given words. So, kind, cruel. Taste, dislike. Possessed, lacked. Usually, rarely. Kind, cruel. Taste, dislike. Possessed, lacked. Usually, rarely. Dear students, I hope now you can answer all the book exercises. Thank you students. Let us continue in our next class.